far northeastern Montgomery County and northwestern Garland County, and even a tiny part of Perry County. There's a new tornado warning in effect there for a storm that was rotating, then it just kind of fell apart. Now there is more rotation along with it, and so we're going to continue to watch this storm as it moves kind of east-southeastward. Not really running into an area that has had a ton of rain yet. Eventually this storm will move into a more rain-cooled area. But there's a lot of instability in the atmosphere, and this is the reason that they have warned the storm. I guess this is the Fort Smith radar really that I'm looking at here, but from the Little Rock radar it looks maybe a touch more impressive. There's not a lot of rotation with it, but it is in a fairly tight area. Winds going away from and toward the radar site there along Highway 27, which runs down out of Yell County and into Montgomery County toward Ouachita. And so that's the area moving east-southeast. And I didn't catch the movement of it, but I don't think it's moving very fast. Maybe
about 35 miles per hour to the east.
35 miles per hour. The look of the storm is rather impressive with a notch there that you can see. And we'll go to it, and you see that little notch feature right there. But it's not super impressive, but it is a tornado-warned storm. There is rotation, so everybody in the path of this, and this is where Montgomery and Yell and Garland County all come together, just all along that corridor right there. Go ahead and get into that safe spot in your house, the lowest floor of your house, the most interior part of your house, away from exterior walls and windows. And we're just going to ride this out. There's going to be some hail in this core up to the north of it as well, but the rotating part would be on down to the south. There also looks like a new tornado warning now. It's in Nevada County. So this is in the Channel 7 viewing area, and the folks at the Storm Prediction Center, the National Weather Service rather, in Shreveport have issued a new tornado warning, and that includes the Prescott area and the I-30 corridor all through Hempstead and Nevada County. This is the new storm, and they're issuing it for the storm, I would assume, that is back, yeah, it's near Blevins. And,
yeah, it's the same one that's been warned for a while.
Yeah, it's been warned for a while. We've gotten no real reports of anything with this. It's a long way from the radar site here. It's from the Shreveport radar site. I think we're looking at this one. But there is some rotation with it, and so it will extend over into Nevada County. And that will go it's a fairly large tornado warning.
Yeah, and I think it's in effect for the next hour till 8:15.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, this storm has been warned for really, or about two storms warned for hours and hours and hours, and we just haven't seen anything with it. Hopefully nothing happens with this, but there is a tornado warning within the Channel 7 viewing area, and so we're going to be on with this Nevada County storm. We're just going to warn you in Prescott and Emmett to be in that safe spot as this storm, again, they're all moving around 35 miles per hour, and we'll get I'll get a little more information on it. Moving about 45 miles per hour, so the forward speed picked up maybe just a little bit. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, and so watch out for that one.
I've got some arrival times for both of those if you want to.
Okay, yeah, let's see them.
So we've kind of mapped this out. One of them is moving a little bit faster than the other, but for the first one that went tornado warned, Stillwater at about 7:19. It's 7:18, so getting pretty close to you. Mount Tabor to 7:28, Brinkley at 7:53. Now Mountain Pine and then Hot Springs Village. You're not in the warning, but you would be in the next one, and that would probably happen closer to 8 o'clock is when we think that storm's going to pass this current warning and start to get to where they would issue another warning if the threat's still there. Still looks pretty disorganized. Now, this is a spot that maybe radar data is not the cleanest. When you go down to the southernmost storm, also don't have a ton of great radar data. This one moving, it says 45 miles an hour, which is going to quickly overrun this tornado warning that's for the next hour. That would get into Prescott 7:27, so about 10 minutes for you before that's going to get close to you. Would be in your tornado safe spot already in Prescott. Bluff City 7:46, Red Hill at 7:54, Camden at 8:12. And so Camden, you're kind of the same boat as Hot Springs. You're not in the tornado warning. Red Hill, you're not in the tornado warning, but you would be in the next one, especially if this is moving at 45 miles an hour. This is going to be picking up the pace and crossing I-30. And we'll take a look at some of the cameras. And don't want to forget about that storm that we came on previous for up to the north. It's not tornado warned, but it certainly has some high winds with it as it continues to make its way towards Clinton. Ton of lightning with this. Probably no break from the lightning. It's just continuous thunder and lightning with this. Still showing up pretty strong there now over Arkansas Highway 95 as it heads close to Clinton, Damascus area. That's probably where these winds will get the strongest over the next few scans as it starts to get closer and closer. And the wind's not really one to calm down. Now, the wind is elevated where we're scanning this storm. It's several thousand feet in the air, but the stronger the winds are above your head, the more chance that some of that mixes down to the surface, and we could have still some 60, maybe an isolated 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this. And I'll check the power outages, Barry, and see if there's any trail back in that area, because this wind signature has been strong for a while. If you're in the Little Rock area, it's still very loud. We're still getting some loud rumbles of thunder, but the rain's moved out. So you may be hearing some of this back over to McRae, Cabot area, but that is moving quickly to these. Not severe, just normal thunderstorms with a little bit of wind and definitely some heavy rain mixed in as well. You go over towards that other little cell, the first one we came on for, still seems like there's a little bit of a notch. Maybe not too organized, though. Over the past few minutes, it kind of looks like hopefully this is just cycling a little bit. Maybe it's
Yeah, they said this probably won't last long, but it could come and go and come back.
Yeah. It's definitely not the strongest rotation we've seen either last night or today so far, but still enough mixing right now past Highway 27 that areas along 298 need to pay attention to this. And that includes areas not in the tornado warning yet. If you have friends, family in Hot Springs Village, Mountain Pine area, give them a call. Make sure they're aware of the storm to the northwest, because it would be in the next warning if another warning is issued, whether it's severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning. That would include probably northern Hot Springs, definitely Fountain Lake, and definitely Hot Springs Village, probably Mountain Pine as well. You're already on the edge of that polygon. You may have already gotten an alert there down Arkansas Highway 192. And it does look like maybe a little bit brighter now on the other side, so I wouldn't trust this one. If it looks weak at the moment, it's kind of by itself in its own environment. We may be seeing this one able to sustain that rotation a little bit longer than so far the other storms have had a chance to, and just continue to see signs that it's not alone. We've got one storm to the north, we've got that one, and then we have the southwestern cell that continues to be tornado warned, and that's looking messy. Let's see if the Shreveport radar, it's in between radars. It's not in a good spot. We have too many radar holes across Arkansas. So there could be a little bit of rotation, but it's going to be hard to see that one moving into Nevada County, very close to Prescott. Barry, I'll let you take over, and I'll start to see if I can find some RDOT cameras that we can kind of tap into and look at.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go back to the tornado warned storm out to the west, and the one that's about to the rotation area almost to come into northwestern Garland County, and the hail core of it would be up to the north. It looks like there's some hail with it, but this little tail on this storm, it's a really kind of impressive looking storm. I don't think it's a very powerful storm, but that doesn't mean that it can't produce some sort of a small rotation, perhaps a funnel cloud, and perhaps even a tornado. So that's why you get into your safe spot there where Washita, or where Montgomery rather, and Yell and Garland County all come together. We'll look at the rotation inside it, and it looks like it's just crossed over Highway 27 that winds from Yell down into Montgomery County. And it will continue to move off to the east-southeast at that 35-mile-per-hour pace. This storm is sort of out by itself, which you never want to see, and so that's why we're looking at it a little more carefully, because we think it has the potential to sustain itself. We aren't sure if it has a tornado warning with it. What we are sure of, though, that there is a tornado, or if there is a tornado with it, there is a tornado warning with it, and that means get into your safe spot. It's not going to be there very long, and as winds start to pick up and as we start to warn you out in advance, just go into the lowest floor of your house, the most interior part, away from those windows and walls on the outside. You don't want to be near that. And if it's two-story, you go down to the bottom story. All right, so we have that storm. We have some other storms that we're going to be looking out to the west. I think we can take our Oh, beautiful shot there. If we can take, let me see if I can get this up. Yeah, it's a beautiful shot from Hot Springs. Can we take our camera here? Let me bring it up full for us. There we go. Go back to our other source there, and there's a nice rainbow in Hot Springs. So some rain off in the distance there, sun sinking low in the sky, and a beautiful shot. So there is some rain around that area, and but there's a storm off to the northwest of you. I don't know that this storm will affect the Hot Springs area, but we're going to continue to watch it, and I'm going to go back to the radar.
I think they've canceled that warning.
They canceled the tornado warning?
Yes.
Okay.
Or they're planning to if they've not done it already.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is going to be one that rotates a little bit and then doesn't. But you're still in a severe thunderstorm warning. Northern Garland County, far southwestern Perry County, extreme southeastern Yell County, and northeastern Montgomery County, kind of where all those counties start to come together. Unfortunately, we still have a tornado warning that is in southwest Arkansas, barely into the Channel 7 viewing area coming out of Hempstead County. And the folks in Shreveport, I don't really know how they can see this very well, but I do see some indication of rotation along with this, and I'll move it just a little bit and we'll show you. This is kind of right at the edge of the effective area of the radar, but there is some wind going away from and some toward the Shreveport radar site, right? Well, this is the Little Rock radar site, actually. And so we're seeing some indication of rotation. Boy, it is hard to pick out. But if you're in that area of northwestern Nevada County, I'd say go ahead and get into the safe spot there. It's just, it just doesn't look, it's so far away, it doesn't look all that impressive, but we can't see it all that well. And so that's why it is tornado warned, and the folks in Shreveport have hung on to tornado warnings for these storms, even with no reports of damage or wind, and very few reports even of hail with these storms. But apparently they see something, and it is into the Channel 7 viewing area, and that storm, kind of the leading edge of that, is moving on out into northwestern Nevada County. We apologize breaking into programming. Obviously, this is not what we want to do, but we want to warn you and everyone in our viewing area, if there is anyone that's at risk, we're going to be on the air, and Nevada County in the Channel 7 viewing area, we will be on until this tornado warning is over with. It's just really difficult to see the area of rotation there. There does look like there is some wind perhaps coming out of Hempstead County, but really hard to see any rotation there and make any great sense of it. And maybe they're able to see something. The storm is kind of out by itself. It has a unimpeded airflow, warm and humid air. But maybe, Zach, you see something that I don't see.
It just looks messy right now. I'm still watching some of these stronger winds up to the north. Now, they have expanded that severe thunderstorm warning all the way to Searcy. So they do think those winds are capable of sustaining themselves. They don't look as bright. We're getting closer to the radar, so the beam's dropping with high. We're sampling these storms at a lower elevation than we were back here, but I still think there's some strong winds, some potential for wind gusts up to around 60. That's now moving south of Clinton towards Damascus on Highway 65. That'll cross over into Cleburne County, down into portions of White County, and maybe even a little bit there of Faulkner County, just depending on where some of these stronger winds set up. But anybody from El Paso to McRae, Searcy, all the way up to Pleasant Plains, probably going to be a bit. Probably 40 minutes or so before those winds get to you, but that's on the way. If you've gotten the alert for that new severe thunderstorm warning, it's much sooner for areas from Damascus up into northwestern Cleburne County, and then down into western portions of Faulkner County, Conway. This should stay well north of you to where probably those high winds are expected to you might get some rain out of that, but I think the darker skies and the higher severe threat will stay well to your north, especially north of the interstate. If you're in Conway, between Greenbrier and Conway, north of the interstate, that's where you may start to get to the southern edge of those winds that continue to push through. And that's moving at about 40 miles an hour. So definitely looking like it's spreading out a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any damage reports from Hector back over into other areas to see if those high winds were above the heads or occasionally coming down and doing damage. But it does look like the higher reflectivity of winds there is starting to come down from that cell Checking in down to the south, doesn't look like we even have a severe thunderstorm warning now for that cell that was approaching Hot Springs Village. Still heavy rain, but brief. That's not going to be around very long. That's already moving into Hot Springs Village. You look at velocity, there's a little bit of your normal rotation on the backside, but it doesn't look like anything concerning, and they've even dropped that severe thunderstorm warning. It's still looking very messy down near Blevins, Prescott area. If there's any rotation, I think the rotation the other night that we were on for looked stronger than this. From the Nashville area down to the Hope area, Prescott area, and southern portions of Nevada County. That looked a lot stronger than what we're seeing right now out of this tornado warned cell. Just based on what we've seen, well, this may move back into Little Rock territory. This is Shreveport County, but once you get over to Ouachita County, it'll be interesting to see if with the change of offices, if they continue this streak of tornado warnings or if they let it die down and see if it reorganizes. Because right now, if there's a tornado, it's very weak, it's very small, just going to be impossible for us to tell because of these radar holes that we have across the state. These radar holes that have existed before I was even alive, now in my 30s. So we haven't seemed to manage to put in new radars anywhere. So we'll see if this has any damage reports with it. But right now it'd be right over the interstate, Prescott area, just out of caution, being a tornado safe spot. But we should be able to give Prescott area the all clear here in about, I don't know, 5 minutes. I think it's moving 45 miles an hour. It's not going to hang out very long.
All right, let's take a look at the track of those winds that go all the way from Van Buren County and Greer's Ferry. So I've kind of drawn where I think the strongest winds are, and then we'll put a track at 50 miles per hour, and this goes all the way out at 50 miles per hour. Within an hour, it would be in Searcy, but there are the times. Quitman at 7:40, Greenbrier at 7:46, Clay, small community of Clay at 8:04, Searcy not until 8:15. That's if this holds together. And 8:20 at Bald Knob, so that would be way down the road. But all these areas in northern part of Faulkner County, southeastern like Damascus, along Highway 65, you're going to be seeing very, very strong winds starting to roll into the area. And I'll zoom in a little bit closer for you here. And the leading edge of that will be along Highway 65, kind of the northern part of it, and then trailing back so that Damascus will be very hilly terrain out to the west of Damascus there, but it's going to be moving down into that area and moving over to Quitman in just a little while. Elsewhere, the only other storm we have is warned storm is the one in Nevada County. Now this storm, I got a little more information on it. When it was over into Sevier County, just coming into Arkansas, the local emergency management there has said that there are multiple trees down around Sevier County. That's really all the information I have, but it was a big wind producer at least, if it wasn't a tornado producer. But for now, it's just moving over into Prescott and the northern part of that county, Nevada County. And for right now, it's just really a long way away from the radar site, as Zach mentioned. If you're in Prescott, though, right now, I think we see maybe enough to just say, hey, whether it's wind or whether it's a rotating thunderstorm, you've got to be in your safe spot and on out toward Redland, small community of Redland, out to the east of Prescott. So this is the best that we can discern from this, and there is still a tornado warning in effect. Looks like the rotation, if this indeed right over Prescott is the rotation, looks like it would go maybe just to the south of Gurdon and maybe just to the south of Clark County itself. They've drawn the warning that just includes Nevada County and not any portion of Clark County. But we're going to continue to watch this storm for a while. It's certainly been one that has stuck around. Man, this thing has existed for a long, long time. Eventually, we'd like to think that it's going to move into an area where there has been some rainfall, and that's especially over into Calhoun County. But there just hasn't been a ton of rainfall on the south edge of where this is. So it gets that warm and humid air that hasn't been cooled by any rain. So as we back out, I just want to give you an overview of the state. You've got that large wind producer, Van Buren County back to northern Pope County, that'll be sweeping across to the north of the Little Rock area. We've got the one storm in Garland County, looks more and more unimpressive, but has lightning and thunder with it, and we'll watch for any wind. And then the tornado warned storm in the extreme southwestern part of the Channel 7 viewing area, including you folks in Prescott and northern Nevada County. But other than that, there isn't much happening out there. So I think once we get past whatever this thing is going to do, and at some point I think it's going to start to weaken. In fact, I think it even looks like it's weakening a little bit just as far as a hail core. We're going to have that one, and hopefully after that, we don't have a lot.
Some of the National Weather Service in Fort Worth chimed into the Little Rock office.
Okay. Yeah, we've got, sorry, I think you've got a mic problem there. We'll get that back on. But we've had someone, Zach, saying from the Fort Worth office, we got a report of a train spotter heading on I-30 toward Gurdon. So that would be up from Prescott toward Gurdon in southern Clark County. Reporting a rotating wall cloud and a funnel moving northeast. Funnel dropped a bit near exit 46 on I-30, but nothing on the ground. So, that's kind of confirmation on this, Zach.
Yeah.
That there could be some rotation along with
We should
it.
be able to see.
Yeah, I think right. I think
Exit
now
46 has a
let's go
camera
to the
on it.
other. Let's go to the other source if we can, real quickly here. And I think I do see. Finally, I think I see some little bit of rotation there. We've got a kind of a bright spot right here. We've got the reds and the bright greens coming together, and that would be right on the Nevada and Clark County line. I don't know if it's a very tight rotation, but that would explain a lowering of the cloud base, and it's moving off to the east. So that would person from the Fort Worth office, if they did see a lowering of the cloud base and maybe just a little bit of a funnel coming down from it, that would explain that, because there is some wind going toward and away from the radar site, all within that small area right there. So that's kind of an area of concern, and we'll see if it's again a long way from the radar site, and we're looking up at an elevation of probably over 8,000 feet there. But at least something perhaps happening.
We have that camera pulled up. If you can see that, guys, in the control room. This is that exit. This is exit 46. This is looking east. I wish we could see west. But traffic has been moving both directions. That tree in the middle was moving. There's a little bit more wind there about a minute ago than what you're seeing now. But it does appear traffic's still flowing. I'm looking at some of the other cameras just to see if I can catch something else. But it does appear... whatever they were seeing, I'm not seeing it from these vantage points, which are very limited. These cameras
Sure.
are mainly meant to be pointed at the highway, but we're still seeing reports of something going on over there. So it's going to be very interesting to see some very heavy rain there. This is mile 53.
Yeah, look at the mile 53. Yeah, that is...
That's not fun to drive through.
That is some pouring rain.
And that will continue to bring in just enough of an issue to where we're going to want to watch this. And it looks like the National Weather Service in Little Rock, they've decided to issue a severe thunderstorm warning. Once this moves out of Nevada County, this is going to be something that, at least for now, would transition to a severe thunderstorm warning rather than a tornado warning. There's still some weak rotation, though, right in there. You can clearly see it. They're southeast of Prescott. But as this gets towards the county line, over into, here's Gurdon right here. So they were back here, probably watching it down to the south, cross I-30. Now it's more east of Prescott, heading towards the county line. Right now, it doesn't look like we're going to get another tornado warning. We're going to get a severe thunderstorm warning. We can go back to programming. But
well, we're still in. I think they're still saying that the Nevada County rotation is still there.
Right. Yeah.
And
as long as it's in this tornado warning, we're going to stay. But once it crosses this line, unless they change their minds and issue a tornado warning, it looks like we'll be looking at more of a broad rotation, that they're not going to pull a trigger on a new tornado warning just yet for Wayland Springs down towards other counties that are under severe thunderstorm warning, but not necessarily a tornado warning at this time.
Yeah, there's still something there, though.
Yeah, it's weak. It's subtle, I guess. Not, I don't want to say weak, but last night we saw something that didn't look very tornadic, produce a very small tornado up in Jackson County. So certainly worth staying in your tornado safe space and letting this pass before you. Yeah, Prescott, hang out for another 2 minutes, and I think you'll be okay. This next scan or two should clear you, but there still could be some strong winds on the backside that I just don't want to be too strong. As we look at some of these other counties, or as these other cameras, still seeing some breezy conditions on the backside of this, but it does look like things are a little bit quieter on some of the RDOT cameras than when I first started looking at them.
Still looking at this, I believe I'm controlling what's behind you there, Zach, but there's still a boat out area from approaching Pearson Equipment and Guy and even Greenbrier with a lot of wind, Morganton and Springfield as well. That's in Conway, and then eventually northwestern Faulkner County, and then the southeastern part of Van Buren County, and eventually going over into Cleburne County there. So again, where all those counties are sort of coming together. That's the wind field inside. This is what it looks like, and so there's just pounding rainfall along with that big wind maker, and that's why we say get away from exterior walls and windows. If a tree gets pushed down, I mean, we've had some rain recently. The ground, sometimes more easily, trees are pushed over, and you don't want to be anywhere around where that's happening. Get away from the edges of your home. Also, the storm that was briefly strong north of Hot Springs, heading in toward Hot Springs Village right now, doesn't look like anything more than a rainmaker and probably a lightning producer still too. And then the storm that still has rotation, and it's in the northern part of Nevada County. And yeah, there's still some rotation there with the reds and the greens coming together as this progresses out to the east of Prescott right now. Be coming up on Ouachita County in just a little bit. Looks like this will go south of Clark County, though. And so that's the good news on this as it presses off to the south. Zach?
Yeah, still trying to draw some arrival times for this line that continues to push off to the southeast and moving at about 45 miles an hour. So this is going to be approaching Searcy by 8:30, if not a little bit sooner. We'll see if we can redraw that and try to get a better track of what we're watching. But the winds are maybe not as strong as they were earlier, which is a good thing, but still could see. This gets to Greenbrier at about 7:47. It's 7:42, so just a few minutes. Rosebud, a little bit longer, 7:55. Searcy at 8:24. El Paso at 8:17. BB at 8:36. So this will be crossing Highway 67 within the next hour to 20 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes really, as it moves off to the southeast. Now you go back to the cell that was tornado warned. That one's still moving at about 45 miles per hour. So this is going to be out of that tornado warning well before that tornado warning is set to expire. I believe that still has another 30 minutes on that tornado warning, and it should be out of that red polygon here probably within the next 15 as it starts to approach Bluff City, 7:46, Red Hill at 7:54. East Camden, if it did kind of re-energize or look a little bit stronger and they issued a new tornado warning, that would include Camden, Hampton area. That's going to be well after 8 o'clock, especially for Bearden and Hampton, closer to 8:30 to 8:40, that we start to see that head for Ouachita County. So don't want to write this off. Still some broad rotation. This one probably has the best environment to still be a nuisance. I don't know if it's going to produce a tornado, but it's going to keep trying, I think. It's in southern Arkansas. They had probably the least amount of activity earlier today. Their energy's a little bit better. I don't know if the tornado environment's better, but it just may be able to try to form a tornado more than these other storms can as we continue to deal with multiple waves of storms. But look at all the clear air. Still some rain back in Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas. This is it. Once this cluster this cluster, clear your location, severe threats over. And the amount of rain right now across some of our White County eastward over to Woodruff, Poinsett, portions of Cross, St. Francis, that's hopefully stabilizing everything. So really it may be this area wins until it gets past Searcy, and then this cell down to the southwest that may be our last threat. We'll watch this little cell that's now popped up there, maybe closer to portions of Union County, moving east towards Chico County. We will keep an eye on that to see if that does anything. But if I had to guess on which cluster is going to be around a little bit longer, the wind, hail, and maybe a limited tornado threat still going to be strongest with this cell down to the south, whereas this northern one eventually is going to run into all this rain-cooled air, which is back off towards the northeast. And still not seeing much on cameras. We'll see if we can hear of any damage or see anything about that. They're watching east of I-40 to southeast of Duval's Bluff. We're getting some questionable velocity data. They're going to watch it, but they think that right now there's not a tornado threat there. And that would be kind of this cluster back in here that has really blown up over the past hour or so. That kind of looks like maybe the strongest area. I don't know if you have the winds over there of that one, Barry, but Hot Springs Village, just a little downpour now moving through, maybe some lightning, but that's it. I'll see if I can find what they're talking about.
Yeah, it looks like just a really messy radar there. There's not much to the Duval's Bluff, out to the east of Duval's Bluff there and south of Brinkley. There are a lot of, let's go to, I'll go to this radar. It's just a lot of rainfall, as you mentioned, and there are thunderstorms off to the east now through Woodruff County, through northern part of Monroe County, and on up to the north. And as you said, this is going to run into this Heber Springs wind producer, and western White County wind producer will run into an area from about Searcy eastward that has had a lot of rainfall. The atmosphere is really stabilized quite effectively there. So there's only a couple of things that we're watching, and we're going to watch this storm in Nevada County and see if the National Weather Service here does issue a tornado warning along with it. There is some rotation out by Bluff City in the northeastern part. There's the rotation right there, bright greens, bright reds coming together. That would be moving into Ouachita County in just a little bit of time. And so we're going to continue to watch that. There were trees down in Blevins, which is back over into Hempstead County out to the west of Prescott. But that's the only report of any damage we've had with this. Obviously a wind producer, but we don't know if it was a tornado producer or not. And the National Weather Service, I think, will very quickly weigh in. They've already got a severe thunderstorm warning for there. They're also talking about that storm to the southeast of Duval's Bluff.
North of Dobbs Landing.
Issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Nevada County. Yeah. I think there are strong storms over there along I-40, but it's like a cluster of storms. And so I'm not sure that's a great environment for tornadoes. Obviously, if there's rotation, we're going to be back and show you that very quickly. But this is the storm that'll be moving into northwestern Ouachita County and Chittister coming up. But for us here in central Arkansas, and I'll back out, we have just a little bit of rainfall left, and then I think we're out of the woods. I think up to the north, you're going to see this area from Heber Springs back to Greenbrier, and the wind with it. I don't know that it even looks as pronounced as it did. It's looking at winds under 50 miles per hour at 2,600 feet. So I think the wind threat with this may be diminishing some. It's certainly not gone, and it is bowing out. So gusty winds for sure. Could it push over a tree or take down a branch? Absolutely. But I don't think it's quite as strong as it was. And it may be just because we're seeing the lower part of the storm and not upper levels or mid-levels of the storm where the winds are stronger. But there's plenty of rainfall with it. This is that area of rainfall out to the east, and I'll just zoom in for you and show you this storm they're talking about southwest of Brinkley. It is not warned in any way, but they're just looking for any sign of rotation along with it, and it's a messy map. And you know what? Messy's not bad tonight, because the more rain we get breaking out, the lower the severe weather threat. But the storms that have some potential are the ones that are kind of out by themselves, haven't had a lot of rain to cool things down. Let's go into southwest Arkansas again as the storm looks to be just about to move into Chittister. There is some rain, or there's some wind toward.
New tornado warning south of Brinkley.
Okay, so they are going with that storm out to the east.
Right over Katv.
Okay. Well, this is the one we're talking about, and this is what they're looking at. And I'm not sure. It's kind of an odd-looking rotation signature there, but there's obviously a lot of wind energy. So the National Weather Service, and they've drawn rather kind of a small tornado warning there to indicate that they probably don't think this is going to last long, but this is the area that we're talking about. Can we go to our other source real quickly? This would be, yeah, number 2. Great job. All right. Yeah, and Katv and all the highways out there, 302, and there's Highway 241, Allendale, small community of Emmons is just down the road from this. And so it's this little notch right here that they're concerned with south of Allendale. Again, some very small communities that are down to the south of Brinkley, just for a reference point there along I-40 and Highway 70. So this will be moving. We'll get a new scan very quickly. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
It's hard to pick anything out.
Yeah.
It's just all these storms seem very turbulent. I don't know if it's bad radar data or what. They're on the east side of Little Rock, between Little Rock and Memphis, but none of this radar data looks very useful. It's very hard to pick out any fine details. So maybe a precaution to issue this tornado warning, but checking some of the RDOT cameras, see if I can see anything. But some trees are pretty limiting the view. It's kind of south of I-40. Most of our cameras, I-40 is right here, is going to be right through here. There's a couple cameras, really one south of Brinkley that maybe we can use later on. But there's also a ton of heavy rain with it, so I don't know if we're going to be able to see much out of this cell camera-wise, but we continue to keep an eye rotation-wise, and let's see if there's any debris being lofted up. That looks suspicious, but I think that's just clear air. Yeah, see, there's nothing right here, so that's why it's showing a blue. Any type of debris signature would be back or really right over Katv, and just not seeing anything. There's a little bit of a drop right there, but that's not too concerning at the moment as we see this continue. Yeah, this is a shorter tornado warning. I don't think this one will be around as long. And still going to go check in down to the south. I don't want to leave Nevada County hanging, but this should be exiting the tornado warning here pretty soon.
Yeah, moving into Ouachita County.
Where they have a severe thunderstorm warning. So unless this rotation tightens, we're going to go from a tornado warning in Nevada County to a severe thunderstorm warning in Ouachita County. So that means we'll keep an eye on it, but it hasn't changed much, and we've not been getting many reports other than there was a little bit of a brief funnel someone saw on I-40 near one of the exits. So maybe that's where the rotation just held together long enough for funnel. And there could be some low clouds with this. There usually is with broad rotation, but we've just got no confirmation that the tornado warning is still needed, but that could change quickly. We've seen a couple storms pulse up, pulse down, and quickly change. You go back up to the north, still some winds moving in from the northwest, but nothing like they were earlier. These winds probably 60 at the most, probably sub-severe for most locations, and that's still expected to head towards Enola, Joy, BB, Searcy, up to Pleasant Plains, Pangburn, that area. This will continue to drop down to the southeast. Some heavy rain, definitely a lot of lightning, and then we're still, it looks like they've issued a new tornado warning there for Forest City. That's outside of our area, but that's the rotation I was noticing more than I was noticing anywhere else in that area. That's the one that looked a little more interesting. Go back to the one that's in our viewing area, Katv area. It's just messy. It is. I don't know if we're getting some bad radar data or what. There's just a lot of wind above the surface, but it's really hard to just tell what we're looking at here.
Yeah, I don't know. There could be some sort of a center there.
Using Memphis's radar side, I still don't see much. But here you can clearly see some broad rotation there right over Forest City heading towards Proctor. So this one got my attention first, and then we were kind of watching this little area too. This is in St. Francis County. This would be in the Jonesboro and Memphis TV markets, and then back through here. This is us. Once it gets to the county line, it'll start to move over into the Memphis TV market.
Yeah, we're going to stick with this for you folks down to the south of Brinkley. It's Keeville and Emmons Highway 49 that runs south out of Brinkley and then off to the southeast toward the Mississippi River. But that's where it is right now, and it's this tail end of this storm that they're looking at. Boy, it's just hard to tell, though, just looking at reflectivity, and if you look at the velocity within it, yeah, I just...
if you use the other program, if you use your other radar source, you might be able to see it better. I'm seeing it better on my phone than I'm seeing...
okay.
I don't know what...
maybe, maybe something... now let's go back to the other computer if we can. And
both radar sites seem a little bit better.
Somewhere right in there, maybe. A little bit of a dropout of... but it's just a lot of colors, and it doesn't show up very well. But anyway, we are passing along information. Usually we're looking at the same thing as they are, and I don't know right now what they're seeing there, but they have issued a tornado warning, and the meteorologists there have been watching it for a little while now. It'll be coming up on Highway 238, which kind of snakes out to the southeast of Brinkley, and that's the edge of the tornado warning, going very quickly. They've readjusted just to this spot, so that's the spot that they're looking at along Highway 49 south of Brinkley for a possible rotation.
It's got a ton of lightning too for such a small cell.
Yeah.
That's usually a pretty healthy sign that this storm is strong. So certainly worth watching. It's going to be interesting to see if there's any reports out of that one, because some of these other radar sources, it looks a lot stronger than it does through our system.
Just looking back through debris with this, no, I don't see anything of note there that would line up with where the rotation is. So anyway, it is our tornado warning that is in our viewing area. Another tornado warning has been issued over into St. Francis County and Forest City, and then the one down to the southwest. Let's go into that again. This is the tail end of this storm that's moving out of Nevada County and into Ouachita County right there around Red Hill and Chittister, and I'm going to go in just a little closer and turn the wind field on. Yeah, I don't see a lot with that. I think they're probably going to let that go as just a severe thunderstorm warning as it moves out into Ouachita County. That was the kind of the remnant rotation right there. It may have been something to it, but I don't see a lot right now, and I think the National Weather Service is probably looking at about the same thing there. But it continues to move off to the east. Other storms in South Arkansas, the southern part of Bradley County, and then the big cluster of storms. And I will tell you folks that this whole area is not going to last forever. And in fact, I'm going to look at the wind field inside these storms up to the north of Little Rock right now. There's a ton of lightning with this. There is wind with this. But the wind field looks maybe strongest from out the southeastern part of Cleburne County through Rosebud in western White County. It doesn't look as bad as it did, and I'll look a little more closely perhaps, but if there is anything that I would look at along there, it's where we get little areas like this, where there's a little bit of a notch there with some winds going away from and winds coming toward the radar site for just a tiny little brief spin up along what would be a bowed out area, and we call that these bookend vortices, or just on the edges they kind of spin, and on the north edge of that sometimes that can happen. I'm going to keep a close watch on that. If you're in Pickens right now, Pangburn, any of those areas, Joy, just watch for this little spot right here. Maybe a little bit of a notch. I'm not saying there's a tornado warning with it. There's wind with it, but I'm going to just keep a close watch on it because it has a little bit of that notch that you see right there. So that's just something that I just happened to notice. I'm sure the National Weather Service, even though they're quite busy tonight, they are keeping a close watch on it. We just want everybody to be safe, to get through this night with no injury, and hopefully these storms will not increase, and in fact they will decrease, which should happen. We're getting rather late in the night here. We're at the 8 o'clock hour. Again, we apologize for breaking into programming for tonight. Our first priority, though, here is to keep you safe during severe weather. It's something that we as TV meteorologists can do quite well, and so we're going to continue to watch that. We're also going to watch this storm near Morrow. Do you see anything with it, Zach?
I've been watching debris a little bit. I can't tell if this is something or nothing. It just kind of appears, and it doesn't match up super well with the rotation, but it's definitely within that tornado warning. And
okay, we're seeing a picture that looks like a tornado perhaps occurred.
Okay.
Storm chaser Zach Hall has there was definitely a lowering of the cloud base there, and it looks like a tornado perhaps did touch down. The Brinkley Police Department also reporting a touchdown of a tornado south of town there. So this is something that we're looking at, and we're going to continue on with. Just so hard to see, but we were telling you that, hey, no matter if it's hard to see or not, there's something to this, and it appears there was something to this storm as it moves on off to the east, and this will eventually move toward Morrow. If you're in the Morrow area right now along Highway 238, go ahead and get in. This is Garrett Grove. These are small communities there. Places like County Road 914, 911, and Highway 259 right here off to the northwest of Morrow. Get in that safe spot right now, because we've seen pictures of an actual, perhaps it appears there was a tornado on the ground there. We haven't had confirmation of that. So the National Weather Service is going to have to look at that and see if they want to continue this tornado warning out to the east, because it stops out to the southeast of Brinkley, and then it will move on over to the east, and that would be into Lee County. And that's where their area of responsibility ends. So the National Weather Service in Little Rock stops there. Then the Memphis office takes over for you folks that are over into Lee County, and that is the Memphis television market as well. But interesting to see. Do you think you did see perhaps some debris in there, Zach?
Yeah, it was just interesting. Based on some of the velocity data, which I was using a different app to kind of look at it, it looked stronger, and then at times you just saw a little bit of a dot show up. It didn't match up perfectly with the rotation, but I've seen a few tornadoes to where that just doesn't happen. And it was kind of hard right in here. This is still spreading out a little bit.
Yeah.
And here's the velocity, if it can.
That Emmons
yeah, like right
area.
There. It was, I don't know. Right in there is where that tornado would have possibly happened. Here's Highway 49, so it would have been just past that intersection as it moved over Highway 49. You just see a little bit of, it just looks like it's fanning out a little bit.
Okay.
And you continue to see it not there. It might be there a little bit. And then a dropout right there. So if this tornado was kind of tilted a little bit, maybe if the rotation's up here and it's tilted, it's not a straight up tornado, maybe some of that would blow southeast and kind of not line up perfectly. But that's a lot. It's a pretty deep CC drive. It probably was a lot of dust that we're seeing. If this is debris, it was probably a lot of dust that was getting thrown up. Not all fields are planted just yet in April. And it still continues to get stronger when you look at reflectivity over the past few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's moving with this storm, if not a little bit behind it. But it does look like they've canceled that tornado warning now.
Yeah, it's out of Monroe County and then moving over into Lee County. So if you're you happen to be watching us, even though not in the KATV official viewing area in northwestern Lee County. I want you to go ahead and take the precaution of getting into that lowest floor of your home as it moves quickly on off to the east. But there apparently was a tornado touchdown, or at least certainly possible there. Tornado warnings are going to be gone now from our area. We'll watch down into Ouachita County, southwest Arkansas, where there's a severe thunderstorm warning. And there you can see it's around Red Hill. As far as velocity is concerned, there's some wind there, but I don't know that there's any rotation along with that. That's why the National Weather Service in Little Rock has opted to go with a severe thunderstorm warning. Other severe thunderstorm warnings, southern Bradley County and southern Drew County. And I'll put the rain back on there for you to show you that this is another storm that we're going to be watching, moving very quickly. Again, our threat, I would say within an hour, our threat really is going to be minimal across the state, certainly within 2 hours. I don't know that we'll have a whole lot more going on, but we're going to watch all of the storms, including the one up in Searcy. No tornado warnings within the Channel 7 viewing area right now. We'll continue to watch these storms as they move from Pleasant Plains east of Pangburn, east of Pickens right now. They'll be spreading out across the northern part of White County, including Bald Knob, eventually Highway 157 and Highway 124, and then a crossing where 67 and 167 split. That would take it up to Pleasant Plains and some wind right there. For right now, Zach, I believe we are without tornado warnings within our area.
Hopefully we are, knock on wood, hopefully we're done with the tornado warnings. The storms start to push out. I still think we'd have to watch some of those southern Arkansas counties. It seems to be where the environment's a little bit better. We've got that one storm moving into Ouachita County, the next one down in Bradley County. Those are the ones to watch. Everything else is kind of on the way out or just embedded in a ton of rain. And hopefully this will continue to weaken as well, since all this heavy, widespread rain that's covering 4 or 5 counties has really wiped out the environment just a bit. So we'll keep an eye on this for just a little bit longer and see if we continue to see any warnings reissued here over the next few minutes. Don't want to throw, we've thrown it back to programming and then have had to come back on every few seconds. So just a couple more minutes to watch this and see if we need to stay on a little bit from Clay to Joy area, and we'll continue to see if anything else is issued. Severe thunderstorm warnings continue to filter in across southern Arkansas, and we continue to see some areas there where some wind, maybe some broad rotation are still expected for just a little bit longer. So heavy rain, lightning, we'll continue to see that for a little bit longer, but hopefully we're about done with the tornadic stuff. That'd be great news, and hopefully we'll get some much needed rain across southern Arkansas. And may not be done with the rain chances. May get a few more downpours and showers tomorrow, and could get another decent round of rain on Friday, especially across southern Arkansas. But for the other areas, still somewhat of a limited severe weather threat. And I'm going to check the National Weather Service chats. I've been looking through some of my messages, been getting some videos. Had a low cloud there down in Nevada County someone sent, and may have been the funnel that someone saw and reported to the National Weather Service. But right now it doesn't look like they have any more tornado warning plans for Shreveport or for the Little Rock offices. And it looks like, for the time being, we're tornado warning free. They just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for, with the tornado possible tag, just as I was saying that, for Cleburne, Independence, Jackson, White, and Woodruff. That would be the cell up here that's still got some clear air around it and may still try to rotate. So we will have to watch that closely before it crosses over into Woodruff County. Not seeing anything too suspicious.
Perhaps just south of Pleasant Plains, there toward the north end of that little comma-shaped area. But yeah, it's hard to tell. I do have the times scoped out. He's moving about 50 miles an hour. Velvet Ridge, Bald Knob within 20-25 minutes there. Augusta, Fisher, Brushy Lake within the course of the next hour. So this is all moving out. But yeah, we're going to continue to watch this just for a second, folks. We're going to get you back. Obviously, we'd rather not be on the air, and you'd probably rather us not be on the air. But for those of you in the path of the storm, I know it's a comfort, because what exactly is happening? Is there rotation out there? And if it was in your area, you'd want to know as well, and that's what we're here for. But we're going to continue to just look at it real quickly. I don't see a lot in the way of rotation with that, but we're going to watch this little area just to the southeast of Pleasant Plains. It doesn't look like it's rotating, but maybe just an accentuation of the wind field there. And in southern Arkansas, I'm going to go on down. Again, I'm just looking at the wind right here. This is southern Bradley County, Hermitage. Not a ton going on with that one. And then also, this is the northern part of Ouachita County. This is north of Camden. That storm there, let's just, there's still some weak rotation with it. I think it's just one that we're going to have to watch. There's Highway 7 as it moves on down. All right. Well, we do have maybe just a chance to catch our breath here. We're going to continue to watch White County, that storm that basically from Searcy northward is going to have the wind with it, and then it's quickly moving on off to the east, and this will be out of the KATV viewing area in pretty short order. And after that, I think our threat of severe weather goes down pretty dramatically. By the time we come on with the 10 o'clock news tonight, I think we'll be wrapping this up completely, if not before then. But for the time being, we're going to continue to watch the storms, northern Ouachita County. I want you to be aware there, southern part of Bradley County, and then White County extending on over from Cleburne County on over into White County and elsewhere in northeastern Arkansas. For now, we're going to send you back to programming. Thanks for trusting us with your weather information here. If we have to come back on,